everybody. Welcome to Trauma Talk Thursdays. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, night, wherever you are. I'm not sure the time of day for you, but no matter what type of day you are having, sound therapy always makes it better. And it's something everybody can do. And I'm going to show you a couple of things tonight. You can just kind of relax. And the first thing I want you to do is just get comfortable. Find a nice place to sit down, relax. And anything that's bothering you today, we're going to use my little magic eraser. We're going to shake things up a bit. I always think of like a blackboard with just like erasing all the drama of the day, anything that's bothering you. We're going to erase it. And then as we pick it up a little bit, you can shake a little of that off. So we're going to shake our shoulders, maybe wiggle our hands, shake our legs out a little bit. Just wiggle and imagine all the stuff that bothers you today just shaking off as you're doing this. And then you're going to take a nice deep breath in. You're going to exhale. And when you exhale, give a little hum. Because when you hum, that resets your nervous system. And you're going to start this internal vibration. So inhale. Just give a nice on the exhale. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to start doing some sound for you. And I just want you to listen with your eyes closed. Relax. And let the sound carry you wherever your dreams want to take you. Okay, so just relax. Breathe at whatever pace is comfortable to you. Close your eyes and listen. And when you're ready, you're going to take a nice big deep breath. And do that hum on the exhale. I'll do two more like that. One more. Okay, now start to feel your feet underneath you. Maybe wiggle those toes. Shake those shoulders. And anything that might have wanted to move from the sound, wiggle that energy right out. Flutter your eyes open. Just remember, wherever you went during that peaceful time, you can get back there anytime you want. And if you went any place really cool, share it in the chat or in the comments. Okay, and then a big welcome to Ra and Brittany. Oh, I may have put you to sleep.
Wow, it's so incredible that it really, really relaxes you in a different way. And when you shake it off, as you said, and you shake your shoulder and you take those and the hum and just release, it gives you an extra different type of energy. Welcome everyone to Trauma Talks Thursdays, Season 2, Episode 5. Whoa, and what a beginning. All right, what a beginning. And I'm joined on stage tonight by amazing, beautiful, and guess what? Two-time author Brittany Perf. She just released a new book. Congratulations, Brittany.
Brittany, hold it up.
Tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Like I'm still Susie, tonight was like, I feel like my nervous system is just like being massaged. It feels so good. I'm like still vibing with that energy. So I'm like, yeah. I like feel it right here, like at the base of my neck. And I'm just like, oh so good. But yeah, I released a resilience journal. That's a 90-day guided journal. So really excited to have that out there. I will put the link in the chat. So that is the paperback copy. The hardback copy is still coming, but it's out there. So definitely check it out, y'all.
Congratulations.
So really excited to have that finally released after many weeks and like frustration and figuring things out. So definitely a learning curve every time I've published. So it's exciting.
Well, congratulations once again. Let's quickly just jump and see who's here. Asians of Support Mental Health, thank you for coming. Susie, blessings, everyone. This is relaxing. Good evening from Jenny. Good evening, blessings to everyone. Rashmi Singh is saying, love that line, live life vibrantly. Ranjana is joining us tonight. Your story from last week still sinking in. And she's saying, so soothing for the soul. You know, we have an amazing show lined up as we started with the amazing and beautiful Bee Lady of Happiness, Suzanne Finley. And she put you all into a nice, soft mood. Because you know what we tell you every time Susie joins us? Is someone with a story that's heavy. So I like that we got the heaviness out to the way. Now we relax as we, after Brittany talks and tell us about her week and her little experience. We heard Susie. Then we're going to bring up our amazing guest. And our amazing guest tonight, she's going to really put some of you in tears. But also, she's going to have you thinking. Mm-hmm. Because guess why? You're going to be thinking, wow, if our amazing guest, Maria Matias, can do it, you can do it too. So, Susie, you and I will jump on backstage and we'll let Brittany talk a little bit and give us some inspiration.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So as I mentioned, there was some headaches along the journey of releasing the Resilience Journal. And connecting that all together, it is the story of resilience to get this created. And one of the things that I kind of borrowed from is you always have a goal or a vision how you want things to turn out. And at one point, I was trying to do the square peg round hole thing as I found out that one of the publishing websites wouldn't allow me to do my vision in the way that I wanted it to be. And instead of continuing trying to force things, I did have to reformat the book one time over, which was like a week delayed. But I figured out that there was another platform available that I could do my vision in the way that I wanted. So that's still going to be coming out, but initially I wanted it in hardback, but I'm able to let go in the moment, let go and let the idea come through. And now I can optimize it on multiple platforms and have it delivered in multiple ways at the best price possible. Because I didn't continue to force it and I didn't give up on my vision. When something isn't working, you're at an impasse. Is there another way around? And sometimes, if it's a rock face wall, are you going to try to scale it when there's no footholds and you're not a rock climber? Or are you going to walk around and maybe see if there's another pathway? Is there a way that could happen? Is there a deer path that maybe you could traipse through? There's always another way. There's always another opportunity. And within this week, that strategy applied, which I do have a section on strategy because between discussions of friends and I, a friend who actually helped me to create this vision, we talked about how people aren't using or leveraging strategy, that it's like, oh, well, it's this way, and I figured out ways to make it happen this way, instead of being, hey, there's A, B, C, D, there's flexibility so I can bend and not break, and I can still make things happen in a way that achieves my goal. Because what I learned from this is I didn't just achieve my goal, I could achieve it better now that I can expand my reach and I can use different platforms while not using one platform that is kind of in hot water and conflicts with my values at the moment. So through this process, I'm making things happen, but I'm making things happen even greater than they would have before because I wasn't hard and fast to like, well, it needs to be this platform that I have to do this on, or else I'm just not going to do it, or I have to do more labor to reform it. No, I'm going to put it on another platform. I've expanded my reach. I've improved my product. The first redo or reformatting was a complete improvement where I was able to go through and see like misspellings. I was able to reformat things better, to make more space, to make it more beautiful. And so each of these hurdles gave me a gift. And likewise with this week, if you're in the United States, you're like, the stock market was tanking. And then suddenly things turned around. And you're either going to sit there and complain and lose the opportunity, or you're going to look at this, pay attention, expand your awareness, diagnose the situation and go, okay, I'm going to work towards benefiting from this because I see what's happening now. And now I see that opportunity has presented itself. Now, this isn't to conflict with your values. We each have our values and we can be very solid in our values, but also understand, is that hard and fast mindset or that black and white way of thinking, is that a modality of self-sabotage? Is that preventing you from having your basic needs met? Food, water, and shelter. And then are you preventing yourself from really seeing opportunities that are available to you? And these are questions that we get to ask ourselves, because sometimes instead of adhering to our values and being mindful of our basic needs and what we need to not just survive, but thrive so that we can be there for others, are we self-sabotaging ourselves, and are we being self-righteous, which is another form of self-sabotage? So these are some things that have come up this week, that have come up along this process, and really getting into an understanding of your values, strategic mindset, and how these play within your life are things that are held within that guided journal. So it's called Resilience, the Resilience Journal. Very simple, very straightforward on that. And yeah, I hope you do check it out. Digital version is available on my website as well, for you to have a less expensive way of making this accessible. And you can print that out. So yay. Thank you so much, Ra, for letting me share.
Oh, come on, like, thank you for being here and doing this. Like, I wanted to literally tell you and Susie and well, Maria is backstage as well. I just recently met her, and I want to tell you, beautiful ladies, like, thank you, because without your support at times, it's like just you all. It don't matter who the listeners are on Spotify or iHeartRadio. We know they're there. We know people like Jenny. They come on here and they want to hear what we have to say. But that extra push and motivation that you and yourself and Susie would give me, knowing that you all are joining me on here to help me do what we do every week, sinks into me all the time that it's okay. You're doing the right thing. Don't matter what. We are doing this for the better. We are here for people to let them know that they are not alone and that they don't go through it alone. And you see, just like you, let's come around to our amazing conference, because I know you talk about it all the time, every week. So let's come around to the conference and talk about it for a second here. The conference, if anybody just pops on and we just drop this over our face here, we see it says, unlock your spotlight, your journey to your trauma talks into the unknown. Into the unknown. Every single speaker, motivational speaker, or entrepreneur, the minute you hear that voice saying, hey, Ra, you should start something that others can know that they are not alone. Share the stories of others. So that moment is its excitement. I can see far ahead where I want it to be, what is going to happen. But when you take that first step, it's just darkness, because you don't know your way from there. So when you take that first step, you took that first step into the unknown. And your trauma talks this time, we want to bring the stories alive. And those who join us will be blown away by what we have to offer. So with that being said, we're going to play a little video for everyone, but also any motivational speaker, any upcoming speaker, any experienced speaker want to join us, and you have questions for us about our June conference, once again, Brittany, can you drop in the chat, the comments, the link for the webinar? It's free. A lot of people go to webinars and pay $10, $15, maybe $25 to join a webinar in order to be able to register for an upcoming event. Well, here's what. Our webinar is free. And we're here and we're bringing speakers, returning speakers back to tell you about their experience on stage, in Broadway, in a theater, in Times Square, in New York City. This is theater. This is not drama on Broadway. It is trauma. So once again, this is the poster. You all can join us It's going to be an amazing, amazing evening, fulfilling some of your questions that you all may have.
My dear amazing souls, I would personally like to invite you to participate in your Trauma Talks, a mental health conference and platform where your voice will be heard.
So,
Why would I want to come to your conference? It looks amazing, like every other conference I've been to. Actually, he's doing it all wrong. Firstly, let me show you, well, you have been seeing, to where you would be coming to speak. You won't just be the spotlight, you will be in one of the main spotlights of the world, New York City, yes! And you're seeing these amazing videos and you're excited. Yep, I know that. Here's a sneak peek of where you would be center stage. I know I got you. I have been to so many conferences as I am an international motivational speaker, but what I have in store for all of you is amazing. All you have to do is allow yourself to believe, because New York City, it brings a different type of energy. So before you move on, I want to personally welcome you to your Trauma Talks.
this is going to be amazing, beyond amazing. We have another video to play before, but let's do this. Let's bring on our amazing guest for tonight, Brittany, Maria Matias. I think I'm pronouncing her name properly. Hello, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I have Susie backstage excited because, you was introduced to us by Susie, and Susie makes all these beautiful connections. Just like Brittany, sometimes we need a guest and they just do it last minute. And we want to tell you from the bottom of my heart and all our rosters and Obscuram nights, thank you for doing this tonight. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little minute about you.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I just want to thank you so much for bringing me on this podcast. I'm super grateful. And you extended your invitation for the New York event that is coming up. And of course, I am super excited to come to that. So thank you for all the goodness that you are sharing with the world, because that is what we all need, especially in these times that we are in. So thank you. So with that, I am Maria Matias. I am a Feng Shui dowsing expert, 3 times best-selling author. So this is what I do, and super excited. I do have also my degree in science and as a dental hygienist, but now I am doing dowsing and Feng Shui, another aspect of life that I am going through. So that is what I do.
Amazing. Well, we are all pumped. Susie, Brittany, you all just want to chime in and ask something before we put her on to tell her story?
I'll let Susie take over.
I just want to say I love Maria. I'm so grateful that she's here. And Maria's one of these people. I've actually gotten to work with her too. Like, I just met her a couple of years back, and we hit it off right away. And without even knowing me, she's one of these very generous people. We were on a call, and she goes, "I want to feng shui your home." Well, I'm getting like this vibe. I just need to do it. And she told me, like, I'm like, I have a very cluttered house, as you can see. And I'm like, I'm a little bit beyond feng shui. She said, no, we're just going to start on your doorway. She goes, you wouldn't believe what it would change. And I had someone that actually owed me money. And she goes, you got to clean the doorway. Otherwise, you're not going to get the money. And she told me, I took pictures. Oh, you got to move this. You got to move that. You got to move that. And my check came. So I can attest what this girl does is magic. And that was just doing this little doorway, so imagine like doing your whole home. And this is her magic. She's truly magical, and such a kind-hearted, wonderful, beautiful person. And I'm so glad that you all get to meet her and experience her. So Marie, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for connecting us. You're definitely the connector. Based on your feng shui, when we calculated it, you are a connector. So this is your power, and this is what you are doing. So thank you for bringing us together.
Yay.
Very true. Thank you so much. So Maria, the platform, the stage is yours. What do you need? You let us know. You just tell your story, go with the flow of it. 15, 20 minutes. We'll be back on.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, so I am Maria Matias, and I am going to share my story about trauma coming into a country that is very unknown. I am originally from Guatemala, Central America. I was brought into the United States, coming from a war-torn country at the time. So I'm very fortunate, very grateful to my parents, my father and my mother, for bringing us to this country. And some of the things that we had to go through challenges that we had to overcome, was going through different borders. And coming in through Mexico was one of the places where we needed to cross through. And living through Mexico, of course, I'm Mayan. I didn't even speak Spanish. I was speaking my dialect. That is my dialect as being a Mayan. We speak the Mayan dialect. And of course, education in a third world country wasn't always easy. And if there was, you really didn't have that opportunity to go to school. And when we came to Mexico, schooling was being offered, but still we did not go. And for the minute that we did try it, it was traumatizing because we were being bullied. We didn't understand what the teachers were teaching. We didn't even know what they were saying. And my parents, of course, they didn't speak Spanish either. So that was challenging. And you know what? We didn't go to school while the time that we were living in Mexico. And then Mexico, when we were living there, because like I said, we came to the country that we were illegal. And Mexico then started to also have laws that if you weren't legal there, you need to go back to your country. And luckily, my father was bright enough to say, you know what, I'm not taking my family back to where I came from. There is war going on. I am taking them to the United States, which I am so grateful. Had he not made that choice to bring his family here to this country, I would not be where I'm at in life right now. So that's part of a trauma, right? So then same thing, coming to the US, I didn't know English. So I had to learn English. And coming here, we came to a homeless shelter where I didn't speak the language either. And it was mandatory that we had to go to school. And of course, going in to a culture that was not my culture. I come from the Highlands, which I just went back to this year to go visit after 40 some years. And I was different in school. I was bullied. I didn't know what that was back then. I didn't know what bullying was. All I know is I was afraid. I didn't understand what was going on, much less learning how to read and write. It was scary. It's a new country. It's a new culture. So then, fortunately, at the homeless shelter, there was a family who took us in, who was willing to help us. And we got started to learn English. I started to learn how to read. And the first book that I believe I remember to read was Climb, Climb, Cat. I was so excited that I never gave up, that I started reading, bringing that joy, because books will bring lots of joy into your life if you read them, right? So they take you on a journey. So that was part of my trauma, was being bullied in school. I did not have the clothing that the children had, that they were wearing. The clothes that we were wearing were handed down. They were from the Goodwill, and some of those clothes were, of course, given to the homeless shelter. And some of these kids, I remember one boy, his name is Lorenzo. I remember him saying, "Hey, that's my shirt. Why are you wearing my shirt?" I didn't know that was his shirt. It was gifted. It was gifted, and he wanted to take his shirt back. I had the shirt on. I didn't know, of course. And so anyway, so had I not had that resilience to push forward, I could have been stuck. I could have been stuck in the mentality, the mindset. I can't do this. But you know, God is so good. When we trust and when we believe, someone always shows up. So that is when Grandpa Glenn and Grandma Lois came into our lives. They took us in, they started educating us. And honestly, I remember I was running because I grew up in Alamosa. It's a small little town. It snowed a lot back in the 80s. There were a ton of snow. We would run outside without shoes. And Grandma Lois would say, "Get your shoes on. It's cold. You're going to get sick." Talk about resilience, but we didn't know we really were shoeless. We weren't wearing shoes. So she would tell us that we needed to wear shoes. They would educate us and myself, my siblings, and they just really nourished us and gave us so much love and support. And I am forever, of course, grateful for that. And then I went on to going to school. Then finally, the milestone was in 8th grade when I finally made friends, when I was finally speaking the language and excelling in my own education because I started making honor roll. And of course, before all of that, I was put in special ed, right? Because I didn't understand English. And then I am grateful to that special ed teacher because she said, "Maria, you don't belong in here. You need to go back to class and learn." Had she not pushed me back into class, I don't know where things could have gone, but I am grateful for that teacher. So as we are talking here, Raw, Susan, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but telling us how we come together and support each other and bring someone else up. Someone might be struggling. Why not give them a smile, maybe even a hug, or just a hello? Road rage. You don't know what people are going through. And then here we are, judgment sometimes can go out. That is not supportive for them, for their own self, energetically, right? Because that is what I do with Feng Shui. It's all energy. And going back to the story, that there is always support. We look for it, we ask for it, and it does show up. And going back to my family that I went, that invited us into their home, I actually got to live with them. They took me in, and that's a whole different story because it was a difficult country for my father to get acclimated to. It was hard to get used to the culture. This was not the culture that my father was used to, so he went back to our country, Guatemala, and he brought us, and forever grateful for that. And Grandpa Glenn and Grandma Lois, who have also they have passed on, and they gave us that support. They gave us that love. And Grandpa Glenn used to always tell me, "You're doing the work. You're the one doing the work. I'm just helping here support you." And they gave me a place to live, a place of love, unconditional love, because they weren't even like blood family, but they gave that love and that support. And I am super grateful. It's all living in the gratitude is the other thing, being grateful, having the humbleness, and just allowing God, source, the universe to flow and guide us. And then, of course, I went on, became a dental hygienist, and have my dental hygiene clinics. And now I do Feng Shui and dowsing, which is an amazing, amazing tool that I help others uplift their own space for bringing abundance into their homes and elevate their lifestyle. Because I've gone through these struggles and I've experienced them myself, that we can also have the abundance that God, the universe, are gifting us. It's about us opening up ourselves to it and bringing it into our own homes. So that's then I got really excited to do Feng Shui, and got over mindset. Mindset is another big thing in our own traumas. Mindset is huge. If we set up our home and align our mindset, what we want, things can show up. And like I said, I've gone through this journey to experience it, and things have changed, things have shifted in my personal life and in the lives of the clients that I am helping. And I just I I'm grateful. That's all I can say, is that we all have greatness in us, and we all have a gift that we are here to share with the world. And I see that, I'm proud. I see your excitement, your joy that you are bringing in helping the world to be a better place. Really, that's what we're striving for, is our world to be a better place, and honor Mother Earth for what we are living on, and helping each other out. So with that, I actually have a free masterclass coming up this Saturday, where I will talk about Feng Shui, how you can apply that in your home and bring in that, open up your space to bring that abundance in. So if anybody wants to join, I will put that link in here in a little bit too. So trauma, can we overcome it? Are we strong enough? Can we find that support to support us? I believe we can. I believe I didn't even speak the two different languages. And then I learned English. I kind of went backwards. I learned English, then I learned Spanish. Of course, I knew my native dialect, but it's that resilience within us, and that trust, and being humble and being grateful for what we have and what is on its way. So that's what I have to say. And I am grateful for all of you for being here with us and joining us on this podcast, and share your greatness. So cheers to all of your success. Thank you, Rob.
That was a lot. I mean, wow. So proud of you for how far you have come. And this is, we tell everyone week after week, take your hand, put it on their back, give yourself a pat on the back, because you brought yourself from yesterday to today, and your journey from yesterday to today has really been a strong and powerful one. But I have a question before I bring in those two beautiful ladies to ask you some questions. I have a question, right? And let's go. So, right now in the United States of America, sorry, the whole stream, yeah, just shifted for no reason. So yeah, with the entire situation in United States or America, given the current shift with the U.S. immigrant and immigration policy, and including all the rollback from the previous administration, with the protections and the tightening of asylum and deportation process, how you feel from your journey from a refugee to accomplish this professional highlight in to be the resilient person, and all that's happening with immigrants right now. What lessons can policymakers, you think, in your mind, can take from your story to create a more humane and effective immigration policy? That is a very I mean, I was listening to you and knowing all the scenarios and the situation right now, and I just try to figure out how best I could put that together to ask you, because I am sure you might understand where I'm coming from with that. I hope you understand.
Yes. So one of the things as a collective, what we can actually do is bring our energies together and meditate, pray, because there is trauma happening right now. People are being deported. Children are being separated from their families. So one of the things that, as like I said, as a collective, is really bring strong prayers in, sending energy of love, of compassion, both to the political and to the people who are involved, because we understand, we are at a different way of understanding, I would say, is there's different what we call dimensions or of energy. So the best way that we can help serve is say a prayer, say a silent prayer, or just visualize beautiful rose light coming in from God, the great central sun, bringing that light in and send it over the United States, send it out to the public, to the world, and everyone can benefit. Is one of the ways that we as a collective, I believe we can help serve on that level. and we all do our part. We can all contribute.
Wow, yes. I mean, it's sad. The scenarios are sad and everything. And as you said, we need to pray, and that's what we will do. Send that positive energy out. So, about this time, I will return those beautiful ladies, Brittany Purr, and the amazing song lady Susie. So, I want to at this time, Maria, deep down inside, before I leave it for these beautiful ladies to take over for the rest of the night, Brittany Purr will have a question for you. Susie will have a question for you. I want everyone to who's listening in. We have a webinar. Even though you're not a speaker, but you want to be an attendee to know what we are doing, you can join us. If you want to be a sponsor and know what we are doing and what we are about at your Trauma Talks, join us. If you have a friend who is considering and they want to be a speaker or they are joining in and want to start, this is a beautiful platform for them to start at, because we help you build a beautiful and strong portfolio. So please join us next Thursday on our webinar. It's all over. The links are everywhere. All you need to do is register. Simply register. Those of you listening to our podcast, if you know a speaker or anyone who wants to share their story on stage, in a theater, on Broadway, in New York City, in Times Square, please do share, register, and join the webinar next Thursday, the 17th of April at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, we're going to have an amazing lineup of speakers. But when you register with us before April 28th, definitely we will be putting you on a billboard in Times Square 2 times, on May 8th, where we advertise the conference, and then June 13th, where you can enjoy taking your own photos with yourself in the background on a billboard in Times Square. So with that, excuse me, with that being said, Maria, thank you so much again. Susie, thank you for doing this with us and helping bring that inner peace and helping us relax. Brittany Purr, thank you for sharing your resilience week after week for 2 seasons. And what we got now, 59 episodes or something like this. Amazing. God bless you for doing this with me week after week. Remember, all my rosters, Obscuram nights, we want you all to love yourself. Think about those moments in your life, because right now you heard so many different things. Tonight you heard Brittany Purr speak about excuses. I went to an office today and sat there, and trust me, I heard someone for about 1 hour complain. And every time the person I'm listening to that person's solutions, and I'm listening genuinely at the person giving that person solutions. And that person made an excuse for over 100 solutions. Only today I was telling someone, I think it was Ranjana on a comment, Robin saying one thing over and over throughout. What is meant for you shall never pass you by, and what passes you by was never meant for you. But I also say this over and over, that when God cannot come, he sends. And this is how he sent them, with messages. And you don't know that person was speaking to her today was sent to her to give her what she needed to hear, but rather she had closed out everything and has shut everything down, that all she could do is make excuses. I understand people go through different type of things, but you have to listen and be willing to look at the doors around you that's open, rather than the only one that's shut, that you're pulling and tugging on to try and open it. So let me leave you with these beautiful ladies. And remember, there was once a man who had the blues because he had no shoes. Down the street, he met a man who had no feet. Thank you all. And here we go. Brittany Purr, it's all yours.
Woo woo. So thank you, Maria, so much for sharing your story and for just that energy that you have through this, where it's like, okay, learn another language. All right, in another country again, like something that happened again, and then seeing the beauty throughout the process instead of clinging to the things that didn't work out. And even more so with what's happening now in the world, how you made it a collective thing. And that is the only way, us working together as a community, functioning together for a better goal for this country, is what is going to shift things. And that starts with setting out your intentions into the world. And the more that that catches fire, the more that change is going to happen, because it's intention first and then it's action next. So thank you so much for sharing that in such a beautiful and accessible way for everybody who is listening to us right now live, and for those who are going to be listening to this later on the replay. So thank you first and foremost for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your story as well. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. So the next question I have is, what initially drew you to Feng Shui? Like, when did it come up in your view, and then what initially, like, what happened that led you to this moment of being like, I'm going to learn Feng Shui?
Okay, so I've always loved energy, and probably 20 some years ago, I had someone go, and I had bought my townhome, and I wanted that energy to be smooth in it, and I loved what she was doing, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, but I understood like it was energy, and I kind of left it, and just, I was fresh in my career as a dental hygienist, and then I came across, this is how the universe, God works, right? Then I came across a free masterclass, and I signed up for it. And at that time, I was the breadwinner of my household. And I signed up for this class. I was like, ooh, can I really spend that money on this class? Can I really do it? Can I really afford to spend this money? It was a different mindset. And, I'm grateful that I did, because this mentor that I signed up with is Marie Diamond. She is the Feng Shui expert, out sharing her wisdom, her knowledge. And then I went to a retreat with her. And then it was like, after that, signs that kept showing up, and I just kept getting energized to do it. And I was like, okay. Then I signed up for her certification program, not thinking that I was going to be sharing this. And I started, then I got certified, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. When the things started showing up in my own life, I'm like, what? This really works? So I was like, okay, now, then I started sharing it with some my friends, family, and then eventually, of course, went out and with seeing clients. But that's how it really struck, was how it started changing my own life, how it started shifting in my own businesses. I'm like, wow, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I'm like, I gotta share this. Yeah, I'm an introvert, but this information, if I can share it with somebody else, help them bring goodness into their own home, into their own space, then that is my other calling, my spiritual calling. So I call it, it's my next journey that I'm opening up to. And but yeah, energy has always been in. It's probably in my Mayan DNA. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I really got into it. And now I am working also with Marie Diamond, and I attracted that as well. So that's how I really got into it, was just practicing it for myself and then starting helping others. And that's just how it began. And I drew the passion for it because the change that it makes, that it creates in your life, in your environment. And it's not really like you hear that it's just the placement of objects. It's really not just the placement of objects. There's like other ways to work with it, the elements that we work with. So it's a beautiful art. It's a beautiful science that it was kept as a secret back in the days in the in China, right? Back when it was started practiced, it was a secret. So now I feel like, oh my God, I learned the secret. So yes, so that's really how I got into it. Thank
Very
you.
cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Susie, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Actually, not a question. I'm going to ask you to share a story that I found really powerful. I knew you when you were going through it, when your mom was in the hospital and she wasn't doing well. And then you called me up and said, oh, you told me what you did. So yeah, what you did in her room.
Okay. So in Feng Shui, right? There's mirrors. So mirrors, what they do is they reflect what is happening. So they double what is happening. So while my mom was in the hospital, I was like, I'm just gonna do this in the hospital. Feng Shui, and I did dowsing, which these are tools that we use to douse a space. And I went and I asked the nurse, I said, can I just please ask for some help from you? I said, I need to cover up these mirrors in my mom's room. I said, can I have some sheets to cover it up? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I've been asked so many different things. She says, but I'll go get you sheets. So she goes and gets me sheets, and she actually helped me cover up the mirrors in my mom's room. So first of all, I moved the head of the bed, because in Feng Shui you're in a certain direction, and I moved her bed where it can be angled. I got permission, and it covered up the mirror, because my mom was in severe pain. They couldn't even find the medication to stop the pain. It got to the point where the pain was so bad that they tried so many combination of different pain medications, and where it came to where she reacted to it and her body resisted it, and her pain was so high. But when I covered up that mirror, and I remember sitting next to my mom's bed and telling her, I said, Mom, I said, you're going to feel better tomorrow. You're going to feel better tomorrow. And then the next day, I was staying the night with her. The next day, the same nurse comes in, this gentleman comes in, and that brings her medication, because they're scheduled, right? He brings in her medication and he gives it to her. She takes her pain meds, and she said, later, she said, what did this doctor, she calls him doctor, not the nurse, so she didn't know the difference. So she said, what did he give me? She says, I'm not in pain like how I was. And I said, Mom, he gave you the same pain medication. I'm so glad you're feeling better. But what I actually did is I blocked the doubling of her pain by just covering up the mirror. And she was so surprised that she thought it was, I'm sure everything contributed, right? Prayers. Of course, I had family, friends praying and sending love and support but the next day, her pain actually went down, I think, to a 3. That's
Wow.
how powerful. So when I share stories, I just get even more excited. Like, okay, who's next? Who do I get to help?
I definitely want to check out that workshop. I think you can post it in the private chat, and then Ra could post it in the main chat for people to sign up for that.
Okay.
Because this sounds incredible. I'm like, I need this. At least in my doorway.
And I want to add to that, she also teaches you special fashion tricks that bring you money. And then after class, you got to run off and go, oh, I need to do this. It's very exciting.
Very cool.
It's very, very cool. And she's very cool.
Yeah. So thank you, Susie. Yeah, it's definitely become a passion to share with the world who's ready. So, yeah.
Awesome. And we do have a few questions in the chat. Have there been moments where these practices brought clarity, abundance, or even what felt like miracles into your journey? I think you kind of answered that, especially with how your mom overcame her pain within the situation of covering the mirror, which I am a firm believer of covering mirrors, but that's a whole other story for another time. Mirrors in my bedroom, looking at them right now, and I'm like, yeah, they're covered with curtains. And then we have, can feng shui and dowsing be used to protect against negative energies or ward off harmful spiritual influences? Have you encountered any powerful transformations or experiences where these practices help create a more peaceful and balanced environment? And does it help with black magic?
Well, what I do know is that we do part of what I do with my feng shui, my dowsing, is that we space clear a space like for entities if there is an energy that is there. Speaking of that, so I actually had a friend of mine came over a couple of weeks ago. She came and we were talking, and she was telling me that she felt like there was a spirit hanging out in the space. She goes, you just felt like there was something watching over, right? And she says, she said, because I did also a free class, or Susie, I think you were in it with another one of our friends, and I guided them through a meditation. And she started crying when she was telling me this story. She says, oh my God, she says, because I started talking about this, and she said, oh my God, Maria, she says, I think you're the one who helped release that out of my house, because since I haven't had that experience that I feel like something is looking at me. So that gives me the chills myself, like how powerful, like prayers, meditations. And so we help release them, send them over on the other side. And maybe they come to you because you have a space that's attractive to them. So it's meditation, we space clear. Yeah, that's part of what I do.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
That's amazing. Being able to, it's almost like the attachment to things that are like negativity held within yourself or within your space kind of attracts these things. And then by reworking the energy in the way that you provide, it kind of shifts that to a higher vibration, for lack of a better word, to like those spirits can't even be present in the space anymore, basically.
Right. And that is what we do in our home with Feng Shui, is we shift the energy of it to a higher vibration. So then in return, then we attract that, what we send out to God, the universe.
Awesome. Yeah. It even ties into manifestation, folks.
Right?
I love it. So very cool.
Thank you.
And let me see. Yep. So we got to thank you from Believer in Karma and Asian Support Mental Health. Great explanation. Thank you so much. This was a great episode. And we are at the top of the hour. Past it. And so one last question, and I'll ask both of you as well. What is one thing, one concept or phrase or idea that you would love to leave with our audience today?
You want to go
okay. Sure, I'll go. So one of the thing is to be resilient and stand in your power and trust. That's what I would say. Thank you
so much.
I love that. And for me, it's to always reframe things. Every time something, I've been using this a lot lately, and it's really working out good. Everything sometimes that looks like it's really bad, and I just look and I go, okay, what can make this good? What good is going to come out of this? And then usually something pops up, and it does. And the more I'm doing, like I first heard that, like, yeah, right. And then I'm like, oh, this really works. So sometimes, like if you wake up in the middle of the night and there's like something bothering you, oh, why am I sleeping? Why did I do that? Oh, that was so stupid. And then I'm thinking, okay, there's a reason. What was the reason? And then it comes in. So always just rethink it. If you think something's bad, or you're never a victim. There's always a reason something's happened to you, and you're going to grow from it.
Awesome.
Reframe.
Thank you so much. And then where can people find you? And we'll start with you, Maria.
So I am on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, but I am more in the LinkedIn area. That's where I have actually my masterclass posted in.
Okay, great.
And it's Maria Matias Official.
Okay. Let me make sure I get that correct in the comments. And Susie.
Okay, Acoustic Therapeutics, which is good. My name is up there.com.
Yep.
And Facebook is Susan Finley, and LinkedIn is Susie Finley.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And let me see if I can get that in the chat. ACUSTICX, correct? Here, I'll just spell out Maria's name first. So LinkedIn is Maria, Maria, Matias, Matias, official, OFFICIAL on LinkedIn. And then Susie Acoustic, ACOUSTIC, Therapeutics, THERAPEUTIX. And that is .com, correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Excellent.
And I have my website too. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. So my website is actually mariamatiasfengshui.com.
Okay. So same spelling, MariaMatiasFengshui.com, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Great. So people will know where to find both of you online. And thank you so much for joining us this evening for Trauma Talks Thursdays. For those who are part of our community, it would help us out and help others out as well to share this episode forward, especially if you've gotten anything from it or any insights that you know would support someone else. Please share it with them. Do not keep this from anybody. Anybody can develop resilience. And I think a lot of people need that for the way that this year is going, no matter what position they're in their life, whether they are a high earning millionaire, billionaire, or someone who is down on their luck. Everyone can benefit from these episodes in some way, shape, or form. There are always times within the human experience that we get to show up with resilience. So share it forward. Do not keep this a secret from people anymore. All right. And if you've seen the power of stories like Maria's tonight, and if you have a story that has shaped you and one that others also need to hear, please join us in New York on stage live. Speaker applications are open, and we have the webinar next week, and we would love to have you join us and join us live on stage. We are always looking for speakers to share their stories because we all go through this, and you never know who you are going to reach and impact with your story and how you can literally save their lives. So if you want your speech professionally recorded, if you want to be featured on a digital billboard in Times Square and make connections that last a lifetime as part of our community, join us. And link is in the chat, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Trauma Talk Thursdays. So send some love to Maria and Susie and Ra, of course, the mastermind behind this, Mr. Trauma Talks himself. Thank you all for joining us, and stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you again. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.